Ayan. So, nasa Kage thoughts na naman tayo tonight. This is my FB Live during weekdays na random yung oras, random din yung content. I mean, at the very least, nagse-set ako ng titles for it, pero actually wala siyang scripts, very raw thoughts and all that. Yeah. So, this is season 2, episode 7, and tonight we're gonna talk about one of the spectrums na, hmm, usually ano 'to, like a lot of people get, ano ba, like irked, annoyed, or triggered kapag pinag-uusapan 'tong as dalawang ends of the spectrum na 'to. This is, the masculine versus the feminine. Ay, and even ako like baka I would take flak for this and all that. Well, gusto ko munang linawin 'no, what this topic would be about. This is not gonna be about, gender or gender identity, okay? So the comparisons here, I'll focus on the masculine and the feminine energy, okay? So yung expressions of those in energy form and in usual behaviors natin. By acknowledging kung mas saan ka nagfo-fall into this, okay? You can actually be a biological man and fall into either masculine or more feminine energy, and you can actually be a biological woman and fall into either a masculine or a feminine energy dynamic. So merong mas default kung saan mas dun natin na-express yung sarili natin. But then again, spectrums, this is about the human experience. So yung itong Versus series na 'to about the human experience. So we can actually always tap into either sides ng mga spectrums na pinag-uusapan natin dito. Okay, so this is not about, yun nga biological na ano, na na, gender assigned at birth. This is more about the energies, the masculine and the feminine energies. And okay, sige. So, um, I'll kick this off with this 'no. So, nakikita ko 'to, comparison-wise, kung ano yung usual na nangyayari kapag mas yun yung energy na present or a person is tapping into, okey? There are seasons in my life na I was more masculine, and then later years of my life ngayon, I'm actually more feminine energy, okey? And okey, so I wish merong visuals 'to pero, para sa mga visual person, pasintabi, I'm more auditory. So imagine niyo lang how this looks like as if it's a comparison like tape to table comparison. So I'll kick this off, with, clicking my timer, and para mas maging, ano tayo, intentional tayo with our time. Sige. So, first off, I'm gonna talk about the masculine energy, okay? Ano ba yung mga characteristics when it comes to this? Okay, so naisip ko na. I'm just gonna go side by side comparison, right? So, masculine versus feminine, this is the first area that you're looking at. Ang default ng masculine is the attitude of go-getting. Has a sense of creating something, achieving something, accomplishing something. So it's more about taking action, doing something about a specific scenario, decision making, taking the lead, taking the initiative, right? So it's a more active kind of energy. Na it leads to specific decisions and actions. So that's one main characteristic of the masculine energy, that go-getting, that andun sa front lines of doing something, right? Um, on the other hand, feminine energy in comparison to that is, it's more about receiving. It's more about allowing things to happen, allowing things to fall into place. So, it's a more passive na energy type, right? Instead of like doing something about things, this is more about waiting. This is more about allowing things to fall into place. This is more about just the idea of uh, finding peace in the current situation instead of trying to control the current situation. It's like uh, just being still in a specific situation instead of like in activity mode. Okay. So that's the first comparison of the two. Dun pa lang puwede niyong i-assess yung sarili ninyo, ano ba yung mas normal sa inyo. So when I say na nowadays I'm more, leaning towards the feminine energy side, it's because, a lot of the things I'm doing right now have enough, foundations and traction and consistency, both for the things that I do and even apart from myself, mga pinagkakatiwala ko na sa ibang tao in my circle to do. So things are moving forward at a pacing that I'm satisfied with. I'm not as keen into like ano, the masculine energy na parang dati lahat ng opportunities binabanatan ko, kahit anong mga bagay na dumating along my way iga-grab ko 'yan. I'm always on the lookout. I'm always kumbaga in the front lines of, "Okey, ano pa ba yung mga ibang project? Ano pa ba yung mga iba puwede kong gawin? Ano pa yung ibang mga partnerships and all that." Right now, there's more a sense of, hinahayaan ko lang mag-flow yung mga bagay, and yung mga bagay na aligned, it eventually comes my way. So there's really, a benefit to knowing when to tap into your creative mode, like yung kakayahan mo na mag-build ng something and to do something about things and like take initiative on things. And there's also an advantage to just waiting things out, just, basically positioning yourself and knowing na in that positioning merong mga opportunities that will align with you along the way. So, um, in regards to that, the second comparison is so the feminine energy is more about attracting things. It's more about attracting things. Naalala ko dito a good friend, si Louis Baarde, isa sa mga founder of the Passionate Creators community. So if you have your branding needs, like creating a personal brand, especially in this day and age, like full blast, like go and explore the passionate creators community, and yeah, have a blast with all their content and tips on how to create a solid personal brand. Anyway, napasegue ako. But eto yung sinasabi niya, 'no? Sinasabi niya na, instead of chasing yung butterflies, why not just create a garden and then let the butterflies, like, punta dun sa garden na yun. Okay, so non-verbatim yun, of course. But yeah, that's the idea. With the feminine energy, it's more about attracting things. And with the masculine energy, it's more about going after things. So it's chasing. Okay. And hindi masama na maghabol on something. Hindi rin naman masama na mag-abang lang on something. It just depends on the situation, on the context, on ano ba yung bandwidth na meron ka talaga. Okay. Because when you look at this, uh, there's a side to the naisip ko na tuloy yung topic ko bukas. Ang topic ko bukas is introversion versus extroversion. Okay, so kaya mukhang yun na yung topic ko bukas. Let me just note that real quick. Okay, introversion and extroversion. Okay. 'Cause depende sa makeup mo as a human being. Merong mga bagay na mas magiging madali sa'yo at merong mga bagay na mas magiging mahirap sa'yo, okey? So we can look at it this way that stereotypically, most extroverts would find a masculine energy easier to emulate, easier to actually express themselves with. While a more introverted, stereotypically, okay, kasi pwede rin natin i-break bukas yung mga stereotypes na yan. But like commonly, introverts are known to be like mas solo mode, no? Mas socially awkward at times. It depends really, but yeah, pag-usapan natin yan bukas. But that is more aligned to a feminine energy. Okay? So, yeah, naisip ko na tuloy yung mga side points ko bukas, which is more about marketing, expressing yourself and all that. But masculine versus feminine. Okay. So there's also a side to this that's related to our cognitive function. Okay. Where your conscious mind, this is basically 5% of your brain function. Your conscious mind, ito yung nagde-decide, yung aware ngayon sa sitwasyon, nakikita mo yan na nagpa-process ng five senses mo yung nangyayari sa paligid mo. Yung nag-iisip ngayon, nakakaintindi, nakikinig and all that. The conscious mind itself, is more related to the masculine energy, and the subconscious mind is more related to the feminine energy. Okay? And this is why in many like neuroscience, personal development circles, so yung mga tinatawag natin na mga limiting beliefs that are hiding in your subconscious, ang usual na nangyayari kapag na-deal yung mga limiting beliefs na yun, a person can now allow themselves or position themselves to receive more kasi na-break na yung ceiling of what they think they can receive. Okay, that's a more subconscious, a more feminine energy side of things. While doon naman sa masculine, or the conscious, no, ito naman yung belief in your capability, belief in your skill, confidence in your execution. Okay, so a lot of these things, of course, kailangan natin yan both. Hindi lang basta maayos yung belief system mo, pero maayos din yung skill mo to execute with that belief system. Puwede kasi na naayos na yung beliefs, pero kailangan mo pang i-learn yung skill. Okay, hindi porket okay na yung beliefs, ibig sabihin pulido na rin kaagad yung execution. Meron din naman mga times na aral na tayo ng aral, sobrang dami mo na na-consume na information. Theoretically and even in practice, you know what to do, like executing that skill. Pero when it comes to your results, it's subpar. When it comes to alam mo yun, ang tagal mo ng inaral, ang dami mo ng in-spend na time dun, ang dami mo ng like sinet up mo na, may mga systems pa, SOP and all that, pero bitin pa rin. Bitin pa rin, lalo na 'pag tinignan mo yung proportion ng effort mo, tapos yung resultang nakukuha mo, it's like something is holding you back and there's a barrier between breaking through. Alam mo yun, yung tipong alam mo magaling ka naman and kaya mo naman, pero somehow hindi ka makapag-charge ng mataas. Hindi mo makausap yung mga tao that are more successful than you. Nahihirapan ka to actually connect with, people for the sake of, ah, yung nangyayari is deserve ko ba 'to, yung it's more about self-worth issues, self-esteem issues, and all that. So, nahihirapan ka mag-focus on the needs of the market that you're serving or who is it that you're actually engaging with. Laging napupunta dun papunta sa sarili, 'no? Deserve ko ba 'to and all that. Yung gano'ng mga dialogues, that's a subconscious thing. So, it's more a feminine energy thing. Um, of course, in the world today, um, we see different trends, especially in business. Di ko alam kung alam ninyo, pero nowadays, women-led businesses are actually more successful than men-led businesses. 3% lang naman yung pagitan, pero siyempre 'pag tinignan mo yung overall worldwide, 3% would still be a big, number. However, it's a recent thing in the last decade, no, where, a lot of women, biological women, are rising up in the areas of entrepreneurship, like creating their own companies and all that. And, um, yung nakikita na trend is, in that sense, even if, biologically, like those are women rising up, yung nakikita na trend is mas masculine energy yung, ine-express nila. So they're tapping into more a masculine energy side of things, which is creating, which is go-getting, which is basically building something. Okay? So consistently conscious decisions, consistently conscious execution. Okay? Um, and then for men naman, same pa rin, like more of a masculine than the type of building things. Um, Now, sa business, I see a lot of benefits where you can actually tap into either or both, depending sa situation, and it will be beneficial. It will be beneficial. There are times na kailangan mo talaga mag-decide and be at the front line of things. And there are things naman outside of your control, or basically when you've done your part, you just have to wait it out. Okay? You kind of leave it to chance. You kind of leave it to luck. And I know for many people na masipag, hardworking, the concept of chance and luck may be, maybe a taboo thing, in a sense na parang na-o-obscure kasi yung hirap na pinagdadaanan ng mga tao that's too keen on, taking pride on their hard work, basically. However, di naman sila talaga kailangan maging conflict. It's like, your masculine energy is used for planting seeds, and your feminine energy is basically used for waiting on the harvest. And of course, meron pa rin yan if you look at that analogy, may mga dilig-dilig pa rin diyan, may mga stuff pa rin na kailangan, pero hindi mo makokontrol yung ulan, hindi mo makokontrol yung araw. A lot of things are there na you just have to be comfortable with the waiting side of things, the passive side of things. So there's a time to be more active, there's a time to be more passive. And it can be in a season, it can be micro seasons, no, like micro moments. Okay. The idea is kung ano yung mas default mo, find the advantages that it is creating for you. And of course, sa ibang mga tao na nakakasalamuha mo, especially with the people you are working with in terms of your team, And then in terms of clients and business partners, um, you need to look at compatibility. Okay. So I have like less than a minute for this. In business, sobrang useful if you know when to shift. The how to shift, like it's skill to be learned kasi nga mas may default tayo. Pero kung ano yung mas default mo, if it's working out for you in certain areas, continue to do so. For the stuff na hindi nagwo-work out sa'yo, yung mas default mo, masculine or feminine energy, then find people who can complement you in those. Okay? That's the quick way, like curate environment for this. However, moving forward, you can actually learn when to shift for yourself. Okay? Um, in business, yun, very useful. Usually nagkakaroon ng conflict in relationships. When uh when okay, I'll just end with this. Toxic in the world we're living in, there's a branding for toxic masculinity. So the expressions of the masculine that's considered unhealthy, right? And the idea is it damages, it brings turmoil, it disturbs the peace, it is abusive and all that. There's also a version of toxic femininity. Though hindi siya masyadong napag-uusapan. However, it's existent because it's just the two sides of the same coin, right? There will always be pros and cons to either side. But toxicity, and I'll end with this, in any relationship, toxicity in any relationship is a sign of incompatibility. Not necessarily that the other person is above another person. Na hindi mas magaling yung isa o mas mabuting tao yung isa o mas masama lang talaga yung isa. It's a sign of incompatibility. And incompatibility can be fixed if there are people in the mix that's willing to fix the incompatibility. However, walang 100% na magiging compatible na relationships. The differences are there so that we can learn things na hindi natin matututunan kung pare-pareho lang tayo lahat. Kung pare-pareho lang ng flavor, umay na talaga yung mangyayari sa mundo. Okay. So these spectrums, these differences, one of my primary reasons for exploring this through FB Lives like this is hindi para malaman lang natin kung saan tayo mas may default and ma-maximize natin yon. And then magawa natin ng paraan yung mga areas and gaps na kailangan nating punan, but also for us to learn how to actually honor another human being, especially if iba sila ng pinanggagalingan than kung ano yung mas natural sa atin, right? So, masaya 'to even in relationships na pag-usapan because there are areas in my own life na ngayon overall, I'm more feminine energy nowadays, but there are still areas where I express myself more on a masculine energy, and my wife loves me for that. Meron din akong mga times na my wife is actually more masculine, 'no. So, but she's learning how to be more feminine in other areas kung saan yeah, so she needs to receive from me and allow things to happen and be more on the passive mode. And it's just lovely to see these layers, 'no. Kasi sa ibang areas, nakakatuwa na ano, na mag-explore pa kung paano, okey, paano kaya 'pag shift natin, 'no? And then it gives a different, dynamic to the relationship to explore. It's like you're with the same person, but a different angle and side to that person creates a whole new different experience, 'no? So on romantic relationships naman. Anyway, that's it for my time tonight, and I don't want to keep you guys like watching. So I dive into both of those and then some of the areas. Of course, ito ay mas malalim pa talaga na topic at usapan. Sobrang dami pang subtopics dito, especially in relation to how we usually think and feel and behave. Most of which are covered in other types of content that I created as mini workshops before and all. So, more conversations like this, more things to explore like this are found inside my FB group, which is the Life Systems Nation. You can join that for free. Search nyo na lang. Di ko na alam kung paano i-drop yung link. Yeah, but the idea is should be more prepared with stuff like this. Yeah, but School of Life Systems, sorry, it's School of Life Systems. Life Systems Nation is a paid group. No, so the free group is School of Life Systems. However, Life Systems Nation is, yeah, you can explore that as well. If you have questions on that on my paid community, it's actually on beta right now. We're planning to release it's on open beta naman na siya, but it's still on version 0.2 this week. So basically, it's the second week of open beta. Okay. So next week, 0.3 na. And so we're creating updates on a weekly basis. Anyway, so that's it naman for our time. I hope you got something out of this. Ang mahalaga malaman mo kung ano yung mas default sa'yo. Do you operate more on masculine energy? Do you operate more on feminine energy as an overarching thing in your life? And then meron mo mga areas ng buhay mo where you think shifting or learning how to shift towards the other side would be more beneficial. Depende dun sa mga tao na kasama mo in that area. Okay? So compatibility is what you are really looking for. So knowing when to shift gives you better opportunities of solidifying your relationships and your opportunities to grow and to basically generate like success moving forward. So yun lang. Maraming salamat. Kage Thoughts, Season 2, Episode 7, Masculine versus Feminine. Yeah. For other replays ng Kage Thoughts, just go to YouTube and yeah, my channel at Vision Harry. So, yun lang. Maraming salamat and take care. Bye-bye.